Allah Akbar.
When you meet different babies, do you treat each one differently, or is it the same?
So what is it that makes American Muslims different from Muslims in other parts of the world? And one of the amazing things we've seen here is the fact that we don't see Muslims arguing about Shia Sunni, Wahhabi Deobandi, and all that. Do you think that's because of the cultural baggage that Muslims have in other parts of the world and American Muslims don't have that?
I think that hits the nail on the head. I think that's exactly it. In our mosque, in our fellowship, we have Sunni, Shiites, we have the whole run of the mill, and they're all part of our community, they're all part of our mosque, and they don't have the cultural baggage. They're free to actually have a relationship directly with Allah. And in the end, when you look at the differences in all the different groups, the core fundamental beliefs are all the same.
Do you think American Muslims think like this because they understood Christianity, they understand Judaism and other faiths, and they look for the common factors amongst all faiths and try to coexist?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it is that most of the Muslims here are converts. You know, they converted from something to Islam. And you know, I can tell you in my case, you know, when I converted from Catholicism to Islam, I didn't leave Catholicism with any bad feelings. I didn't think, oh, I got to get out of here. I liked it.
You took something from it? And
yeah, sure. I took what I learned most was the love of God, the love for God, and the love for fellow man. That was the part that I took with me and made that a real cornerstone for the foundation for the faith. Because there's no difference. There's no difference. You know, how it is that that people worship God, and how there's lots of differences there in the rituals and the ways that people express, and maybe their understanding of it. But it might be that the love that people have in their heart, that they're trying so hard to find expression for, the love might be the same. And just in case it is, we better be careful. As Muslims, we better be careful what we do, what we say, how we act. Because the love that's in someone's heart, directed towards Allah, was placed in that heart by Allah. And we don't have any, that's not really our playground. We have to be very careful how it is that we protect that and how it is that we intrude into that.
Another question that comes to mind is the idea that some Muslims believe people of other faiths are infidels and that you can't mingle with them, you can't talk to them. I would like you to connect with all these millions of Muslims and people of other faiths watching you. Some might have bad image of Islam or Muslims, some might have good idea or image, or some are just stuck in the center. What would you say to them?
Well, the image that people have of Islam really has to do with what it is that they're told. And so this goes a long way to presenting Islam in a different view, inshallah, I hope. The important thing is Americans are a pretty fearless crew. You know, most people are not, they're not frightened. And they're curious. And so it's not a bad idea to engage and to go and talk. You know, there's a lot of interfaith activity going on, which is extremely helpful, where we have Christian kids, school kids coming here, we have kids from synagogues, Jewish kids come here.
At your fellowship?
At the mosque. They come to the mosque and they, you know.
Jews are coming to the mosque?
Sure,
Christians
Jews
are coming
come to the mosque, and we encourage them to come, and we have classes where we explain about Islam, we take question and answer parts, we go to schools, we go to universities. It's been going on for quite some time.
A lot of the Muslims would disagree with you on that, you know that?
Well, so what?
But that's not Islam, right?
Yeah, that's not Islam. I mean, who cares what? The point is that if people want to ask a question, why shouldn't they have an answer? You know, it's rude. Besides being wrong, it's rude when somebody asks a question, especially a child asks a question, and you say, wait a minute, you know, are you a Muslim before I answer that question? That's nuts. That's not only rude, it's nuts. And it doesn't make any sense. And there shouldn't be any room for that within Islam. There is no room for that. Either we're going to have to make sure that we present an invitation that's appropriate.
Wow. That's a call for prayer.
Yeah,
Adhan.
it's Maghrib.
That's beautiful.
This is the Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah.
We need to have an appropriate intention, goodwill towards all men, and we have to express it in the way that we act, not just in our words. And we can't just have a small group of brothers that we say, the world is for us. If Allah meant the world just to be for us, He wouldn't have created anybody else. And we have to begin to understand that way. Baba Muhyiddin taught us how to think in this inclusive way. He didn't treat people differently. If he just met you, he treated you the same as somebody who knew for 20 years. Why? Because he loved everybody. And that love doesn't see differences. When you meet different babies, do you treat each one differently, or is it the same?
People ask me a lot of questions. They say, you're in America, you're a Muslim, don't you get bothered by people? Don't people taunt you? I've heard that you can't wear hijab in America, which is obviously not true. But there's a lot of misconception.
The interesting thing is that after 9/11, the first person to call us, and it was very shortly after we had heard about all of this, was a person who was Jewish. She was genuinely concerned. So they had gone beyond their prejudice. They had gone beyond their religion. They were just simply concerned for you as a human being. That's what we have to become.
In the culture of many different countries in Islam, they bring their culture in, their nafs. In the sense of they fill these spaces in the Quran. They fill the spaces in the fiqh and the sunnah. And see, this is not our job. Our job is ashadu, to witness and wait. He says in the Quran, you know, I am waiting, come wait with me. That's all we're doing.
We should not go about judging people. It has been reserved for our Creator, by our Creator. And who are we to trespass on what the Creator has reserved for Himself?
At one moment when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was searching to discover Himself, He was you. Every thought you've ever had, every feeling, every revelation, every sin, every disappointment. And at the end of it, He said, okay, there's more. But He kept the best of His experience as you, and that's your soul.
Allah Akbar.
And I would encourage all Muslims to really become conscious of their personal, direct relationship with God.